But how did you then connect with John Powell? How did Jason Bourne come about?
Well, we actually sort of connect. Well, yeah, I obviously he and Harry have a long history with Shrek, and didn't they do another one together? Did they do Ants together? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Chicken Run, Chicken Run, Chicken Run.
Yeah.
But they've got that Aardman DreamWorks legacy. So I helped on a couple of Shreks, but John wasn't doing those at that point. He'd sort of gone very much in his own direction. But everyone was Santa Monica bound or in the Palisades, or whatever. And there was a party, and I met John, and we chatted, got on fine. I mean, nothing. We weren't firm friends or anything, but enjoyed, as far as I could tell, enjoyed each other's company. And then there was actually a short. It was a spin-off of How to Train Your Dragon. It was called The Book of Dragons, and very kind of low budget, low key. I mean, they didn't have money for orchestra or anything like that, and it wouldn't have been on John's radar because I'm sure he would be busy doing a big feature film. I can't remember. I think the music editor who was on the main film said, "Oh, David Buckley might be a good candidate for that." It was this 15-minute thing, so I pitched for it and got offered it. So that was the first time I got to play in the John Powell Sand Pit. Was in a sort of How to Train Your Dragon world.
The John Pit.
The John Pit. It doesn't sounds a bit doesn't do the man the justice that he deserves. But even though we basically that little project, and it is a little project, it ended up I think either end of the short, it was a piece of Powell from the actual movie. And then I did the guts of it. I did the middle, where I wasn't actually using John's themes, but I was definitely alluding to his kind of Celtic world, and kind of doing, riffing on the Powell kind of How to Train Your Dragon style. And then I think John was someone who I then bumped into from time to time and occasionally sought his opinion just on sort of career stuff. Just, there can't be a composer in Hollywood who isn't impressed by John. I mean, his music, is of a level which I think most of us could only dream of attaining. But he's also quite a savvy bloke, and I realised this when I'd met him at parties and things like that. That he had an interesting take on things. John isn't, as far as I can tell, he isn't someone who sort of shouts on the rooftop. But when you actually engage with him and you hear what he's got to say, he has a very interesting angle. So I as someone who was trying to find their feet and who'd had little moments of success, but then moments of like not quite sure what was going on next, I sought out his opinion. And he said something to me which was quite funny. He said he enjoyed watching The Good, as it was then, The Good Wife and The Good Fight. And he goes, Dave, what I love you're doing now is you're writing this sort of classical kind of score, and it's so different to like standard television music, so different to like you're not doing the norm, and I love that. And John is quite a contrarian. I think he'd be the first to admit that. And he goes, I just love that you're doing that. And he goes, my advice, if the next time you get offered a thriller, just go and do your classical stuff. Just put it in there. If you get fired, you get fired. It doesn't matter. You've still got your show. You'll be able to pay the bills. He goes, just go and like confound expectations and do that. And I said, are you sure? And he goes, yeah, just go and do it. You'll be fine. Roll on 6 months. John calls me, says, I've got a bit of a problem. For various reasons, I can't do this movie, Jason Bourne. I can't do it by myself. Would you want to come on and do it? I said, geez, of course I would. And he goes, do you remember that conversation we had about you doing your classical stuff? Nah, don't do it on this one. Don't do that. Just give me.
Don't get fired on this one.
Yeah, exactly. So all that well-intentioned and sort of liberating and mind-opening advice. Extremely well meant. He's like, no. We have the toe a party line here, and we did. Paul Greengrass called me when it seemed like a good fit, and he said he was worried because I think he wanted John, and John couldn't commit, and Paul Greengrass didn't know who I was, so he had a chat with me, and he goes, Dave, I want this to be I want to get the band back together. I want this to be a classic Bourne score. He goes, no real inventing of the wheels necessary. We've got what we need. We just need to make it work with the film. And, you know, that was the brief. No point me arguing with Frank Marshall, Paul Greengrass, Universal Studios. I'm not, you know, not in that business of arguing with people like that. And it was, you know, so the exercise for me was, what can I do with it so I feel relevant? You know, I would hate to think that I was nothing more than an arranger or a mere regurgitator, but I do also know, I know I've read all sorts of comments about that score, some from gushing praise to people dismissing it as absolute complete trash and pointing the finger at me for making it so. Whatever, it's fine. The film did pretty well.
Well, I loved it. Yeah.
But you know, it was just one. You know, that's the job that I'm paid to do. It's to figure out what a fire needs putting out, a problem needs solving, and the problem here was that we have a legacy of music, no pun intended, written by John. He can't commit. They liked me. They liked some of the music I'd written for other projects, which is how I got this. So they liked my sensibilities. So I had to just figure out how to navigate that, how to bring whatever I could to the party, and when to step back and let the original sound come forward. It's servicing the drama and it's making the director happy. And those are the, you know, in this instance, I certainly knew, because I will say I did try at the very beginning to kind of go against what the conversation should be, and I did try and present something a little bit different, and I was thanked for it, but I was thanked and then followed by a no thank you. Can we have more traditional
right,
kind
one of those? Yeah.
So, you know, it's fine. I'm in a commercial business here.